By day, Alan Eskens is an attorney in Mankato, but at night, he writes mystery novels. His first book has been on several bestseller lists. All of his novels take place in Minnesota, where the icy winter backdrop has become one of his characters. We visited with Eskens to learn how he does his whodunits.
I can sit down and talk about a paragraph that I wrote the way my brothers can talk about how they sank an 18-foot putt. My name is Alan Eskens, and I'm a writer. My day job is I am a criminal defense attorney in Mankato. My first novel, my debut, is The Life We Bury, and my second novel is The Guise of Another, and then I have a third novel, The Heavens May Fall. They are mystery. They're all a little bit different. The first one is kind of a literary mystery. The Guise of Another, my second novel, is a cross between mystery and thriller. And my third novel is more of a legal thriller. I wasn't really drawn to writing in my younger days. I was into theater in high school and college. And so being in theater, I developed this creative side. But then I went to law school and quit doing theater, and there was this part of me that needed to express that creativity. And I had a degree in journalism, I had a degree in law, and those both are writing based. So I started looking into writing as a way to express myself creatively. And that's when I got out of law school, I started taking classes on creative writing. All three books are based in Minnesota. The first book has a protagonist who is a student at the University of Minnesota. He's from Austin, and he's kind of running away from home to go to college. And so most of the novel takes place around the campus and in this nursing home, but a lot of it does take place in Austin. I have some familiarity with Austin. My daughter went to high school in Austin, but also Austin has a reputation for being a blue-collar town. And when I created the character of Joe, I wanted him to come from a blue-collar background. And when I describe Austin in the novel, I described it from Joe's perspective, from the perspective of a teenager who's dying to get out of that town. Austin also had 13 bars, not counting hotel bars and service clubs. And with a population of 23,000, give or take, Austin had one of the highest bar-to-citizen ratios in greater Minnesota. I knew the bars well, having been in every one of them at one point or another. I stepped into my first bar when I was a mere nub of a kid, probably no more than 10 years old. My mother left me at home to keep an eye on Jeremy while she went out for a drink or two. I am a very poor reader. I'm a very slow reader. I have this daydreaming imagination that's constantly running. And so as I'm reading something, if I read a sentence that makes me think of my own writing process, I'm daydreaming now about something else. And so I have trouble focusing on a book. So most of my reading actually I do in my truck with books on CD. I have my favorite authors, Dennis Lehane, who wrote Mystic River and Shutter Island, an author named Tom Franklin. He's got a book out there called Crooked Letter, Crooked Letter. He's got a few books, actually. He's a really, really talented writer. I am a genre writer, but my job as an attorney is to take a case, an investigation, and dissect it and try and find the flaws and the holes. And so I was drawn to mysteries just because of my day job. I am a big believer in outlining. I think that I can write more complex plots, more complex characters. I can have better subplots if I outline it in advance. For The Life We Bury, the mystery aspect of the novel keeps people reading forward, and the personal aspect, the relationship, draws them in deeper. That was my goal, at least. For the most part, when I write a character, it's an amalgamation of people I know, people I've come across in my law practice, friends, relatives, even characters on TV. Joe is a lot of me in some ways. Like I said, he ran away from home to go to college, and I kind of feel I did the same thing. My dad owned a drywall company in Missouri, and I decided that I wanted to get into Iowa to go to college so that I wouldn't be doing drywall on the weekends, so I wouldn't have to, go home and hang sheetrock. I believe in my novel, winter is almost a character. That's the wonderful thing about being a Minnesota writer, is you have these brutal, strong, powerful winters that can be characters in a novel. I made the decision early on that I was going to go traditional publishing. With the explosion of the non-traditional publishing, the big thing is, how do you get noticed now? How does your book rise above everybody else's? And I decided that a traditional publisher would be the best way to go. I was rejected by 150 agents before I finally got one. It takes me about a year to do a novel. My third one, The Heavens May Fall, the one that's coming out in October, took a little longer. One of the things that I think really helped my writing was a teacher named Terry Davis here at Minnesota State University in Mankato, who talked about, as a writer, you should seek to evoke. And what that means is, you're not there to tell a story, you're there to tell a story in such a way that it evokes emotion, evokes understanding, that the reader walks away with something from here, not just from here, after they've read your novel. That's the goal, that's the aim. You don't always hit the mark, but that's what you shoot for. I will sit there at an airport and I'll be describing things in my head. How would I write this on a page? I was doing that before I was a published author. And so if I'm doing that in my head anyway, might as well put it on paper.